Okay. My name's Anna, and I'll be doing the 2AC. So my partner says that Syria's chemical weapons is a direct threat to the United States, and it is a direct threat to the United States because even if they're not, as a disadvantage, say, attacking the U.S. mainland, they are capable of attacking our allies, which then would draw us into a war, and other tyrants will, stopping Assad will help to stop further use by other tyrants. Barack Obama, President of the United States, Washington Post, published September 10th, 2013, Access September 10th. The facts cannot be denied. The question now is what the United States of America and the international community is prepared to do about it. Because what happened to those people, to those children, is not only a violation of international law, it's also a danger to our security. So this says that the use of chemical weapons is a significant problem in the status quo because not only are they killing the other people, their people, Assad will keep using them until somebody stops them and somebody punishes them. In subpoint B, my partner says that we cannot allow the further killings of people, and the disadvantage says that it's not really a significant problem, that it's not our job to stop it, but it is a significant problem because serious instability threatens the United States allies. John McCain, U.S. Senator, Time Magazine, May 20th, 2013, Access, September 9th, 2013. The strategic and humanitarian costs of the conflict in Syria continue to rise, not just for Syrians, but also for vital U.S. interests. Chemical weapons have likely been used by President Bashar Assad's regime against civilians, and more than 70,000 people have been slaughtered. And that's just one estimate of how many people have been dying. So that proves that there's a significant problem in Syria and that we should step up, and it is an international problem. The disadvantage says that it's not a significant problem because Syria's capabilities aren't able to launch strikes against the U.S. mainland, but Syria can kill Americans with short-range attacks as well. Michael Crowley, senior correspondent for Time Magazine, Time, September 2013, Access September 6th. The U.S. has deployed 4 destroyers armed with scores of Tomahawk cruise missiles in the Mediterranean Sea. They are backed by additional U.S. and British submarines and warplanes in the region. So this proves that Syria doesn't need long-range weapons to kill Americans because we're near them. We're in the Mediterranean Sea. We have Navy ships. We have other places around Syria that Americans can be killed in because Syria can attack us. They don't have to attack the mainland. They can attack us and kill us in other places too. So Americans will die, which proves that the disadvantage is wrong. Let's see. They also say that we don't know what their stockpile of chemical weapons is. The disadvantage says that we don't know where the stockpiles are, so how are we supposed to find them? But Syria's chemical weapons stockpile is the largest threat to the world. Alan Dowd, senior fellow with the Fraser Institute and commentator on military and defense issues. The Hamilton Spectator, published July 26, 2012, Access October 14th. The crumbling regime of Syria's strongman Bashar Assad controls one of the largest chemical weapons programs on Earth, including mustard gas, sarin, and VX nerve agent. Syria has mated these weapons with artillery shells and missilery. Open source materials indicate that Syria has 5 major chemical manufacturing facilities in and around the cities of Hama, Homs, and Al-Sarifa, along with 45 chemical weapons storage facilities. So we do have sources of where, we have knowledge of where the chemical weapons are, and so we can handle those. My partner also says that if we don't act, other nations will possibly use chemical weapons. If we do not act, it allows other nations to move forward with chemical weapons. Samantha Power, U.S. Ambassador of the UN, published by Henry Blodgett in the Business Insider, September 9th, 2013, Access September 10th. We cannot afford to signal North Korea and Iran that the international community is unwilling to act to prevent a proliferation or willing to tolerate the use of chemical weapons of mass destruction. If there are no consequences now for breaking the prohibition on chemical weapons, it will be harder to muster an international consensus to ensure that Hezbollah and other terrorist groups are prevented from acquiring these weapons themselves. So other nations are waiting to see what we do, because if we don't stop Syria, if we don't step in internationally, then who's to stop the other nations from striking, from further developing their chemical weapons? Other nations are waiting to see what the U.S. does. Michael Crowley, senior correspondent for Time Magazine, Time, September 2013, Access, September 6th. And the Syrian crisis is not the only one testing the limits of Obama's foreign policy approach or the power of his country. Iran is moving forward with its nuclear program in defiance of Obama's similar warnings of military retribution. In Egypt, and military regime backed by the U.S. taxpayers continue to ignore his calls for peace after more than 600 protesters have been killed. Afghanistan's shaky government is warily prepared for the prospects of civil war when the U.S. troops finally leave next year, while terrorist bombs continue to torment. So by attacking Syria, we can stop other nations from using chemical weapons, and we can solve the problem head on. We don't have to wait for others to do it, because if we do it, then it's likely that others will follow. I now stand open for cross-examination.
Since the initial attack in Syria, have chemical weapons been used since then?
We're not sure.
Does the international attention on Syria prevent the use of weapons further?
What?
That is to say, if you were Bashar al-Assad, and the international community was focusing on you,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone knew that you used chemical weapons, would you then use them again?
Maybe. We don't know what he's capable of. I mean, if he's killed 70,000 people, what's to stop him from doing it further?
So you do think that the inherent problem here is that Syria is the #1 international threat?
Absolutely.
You said they have 5 facilities, 45 facilities, correct? 5 facilities, which they made them, 45 facilities, which they stored them, correct?
Yes.
Do you know the personnel that work at these facilities?
No.
Could it be possible that Bashar al-Assad is going to staff these facilities with civilians on purpose?
Possibly.
Because you already said that he's capable of doing whatever, and he's already killed a bunch of people already, right? Do you think that that's a possible maneuver that you could do?
To stash civilians?
To use
inside?
civilians, to staff the facilities with civilians, so that if they come upon attack, we then kill Syrian civilians.
Yeah. Which just proves that he's a bigger threat.
Bigger threat than, say, North Korea?
We're focusing on Syria.
Okay, thank you.